Quote number 1. Mediocrity knows nothing higher than itself, but talent instantly recognizes genius. This means that people who consider themselves average are not able to see others who are above them in intelligence and understanding. This happens because their own mentality is average and they spend most of their time with similar people who have a mediocre mindset. The type of content that they consume is also mediocre. They are actually the ones who follow the crowd. But the really talented people are those who think out of the box. They are actually leaders who lead from the front. They recognize genius easily because they try to see themselves in others. They are able to detect that spark in others. One example of this is of Ronaldinho, the Brazilian footballer, identifying Lionel Messi's talent. Ronaldinho once said to Kobe Bryant, the American professional basketball player, "Kobe, I am going to introduce you to the guy who is going to be the greatest player of all times." Kobe said to him, "What? I thought you were the best." Ronaldinho said, "No, this kid right here is going to be the best." And that kid was Lionel Messi, who was only 17 years old. Ronaldinho was able to say this because he himself was a fantastic footballer. One thing to learn from this is that we should appreciate the talent around us and try to get inspired by it. If we are fully inspired and we have an idol in mind, it will drive us, and there is a strong possibility that we get to that level. Quote number 2. We can't command our love, but we can our actions. This means that we cannot direct who and what we love. Love is not actually an emotion that we can order. It just happens. Somewhere some connection happens between us and what is being loved. No one can force anyone to love something. In other words, love is perhaps the only emotion in which there is no compulsion. But what we can control are our actions. We can actually choose what to do and what not to do. One thing to learn from this is that our actions should be in the right direction because our actions are in our hands. Doing this will always lead you to success in life in the end. Quote number 3. My mind rebels at stagnation. Give me problems, give me work, give me the most abstruse cryptogram, or the most intricate analysis, and I am in my own proper atmosphere. But I abhor the dull routine of existence. I crave for mental exaltation. This means that the moment we start to become stagnant at the level of body or at the level of mind, we start to decay. We lose all the energy we have. We also lose the child inside of us that keeps us young. The sad part about all of these is that we don't realize that all of this is happening inside our mind. Our mind resists, but we are not aware of it. We need challenges in our life to grow as a person and make our life interesting. Furthermore, challenges also help us to push our limits and get out of our comfort zone. We need work to apply our mind and keep it active. We need the most difficult tasks to keep our mind running. We need puzzles and riddles to strengthen the muscles of our minds. We need complex situations and impossibilities to grow at the mental level. We need to detest going into the same routine every day again and again. Doing something repeatedly stagnates our mind and we don't learn anything new. Struggling in the beginning gives you pain, but in the long term gives you happiness and satisfaction. Since Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was a writer, so an example of writing would be most relevant here. Writing novels is a daunting task and takes a lot of time. So for a writer, the proper atmosphere in writing is actually when he or she is afraid to start, struggling with a particular scene, confused about a particular idea, analyzing a particular part of a novel, etc. In this process, there is always something new to learn and a writer always pushes his or her limits. After the whole process, a writer, who is an artist at heart, actually experiences creative satisfaction and happiness. Steve Jobs said in one of his speeches that you should never settle in life. One thing to learn here is that we should keep challenging ourselves so that we keep growing in life. Quote number 4. It has long been an axiom of mine that the little things are infinitely the most important. This means that the small things are infinitely important. All the big things like buildings, aircrafts, cities, etc. are made by accumulations of small parts. So the existence of small parts is really important. Normally, the interesting parts of something big are actually details. For example, there are certain scenes in a movie that engage the audience and are loved most by the audience. These are the details which matter a lot in the success of the movie. Another example relevant here is that of Harry Potter series. The Harry Potter series became a masterpiece of writing because of the small, minute details of the magical world weaved together masterfully by J.K. Rowling. One thing to learn here is that we should never ignore details because they are really the things that make the most difference in any big structure.